let's go and take a minute today just to start with some wiggles. We're gonna do some wiggles called pendiculation. So that's that kind of morning stretch you do, that cat stretch, where you tense up the muscles, but you lengthen them at the same time. And at some point you feel this like release, where you know that you've held it long enough. So go ahead and squirm through the wiggles until you feel like you've held them long enough, and then find the next one. Go ahead and make your way to a comfortable sitting position. If that means sticking something underneath of you, that's fantastic. We'll lengthen up through the top of the head and let the shoulder blades drop down the back. Let's take a moment to move and scrunch the face. And then let that go too. We'll take a few breaths in through the nose, letting them out slowly through the nose. Feel your lung capacity fill forwards, out to the sides, a little out to the back, and down. And now as you're breathing, I want you to continue going from all the way empty to all the way full and back again. But what I'd like you to do is slow it down. We're going to keep slowing down that breath until it's bordering on mildly uncomfortable. See if you can find that place where it's like, yes, I would really like to breathe more, but not so much that you're starting to feel any tension in the musculature. Now come back to the natural breath. You might feel the urge to do some more of those stretches along with it. Now let's play with the shoulders. We're going to take one shoulder forward and back. Find your range of motion. And the other side. And then take the arms open, drawing those shoulder blades down and together, Exhale, we'll curl forward, tuck the chin. Take it at your own pace. The next time the heart is lifted, the arms are open. Let's take one arm up and over. We're going to pat ourselves on the back and really squeeze tight so we're feeling our tricep stretch here. And if you're just not feeling the tricep stretch, fine, that might not be enough stretch for it. We'll add some lat stretch, reaching the elbow to the sky. And the other side. And let it go. This time we're going to take our hands behind us and we're going to raise them up our back as high as we can, just one at a time. So we'll take one up. Now this stretch should be a sensation in the shoulders. It shouldn't be pinchy in the elbow. If that's happening, drop it down a little bit, return to this opening of the shoulder. And we'll take the other side. All right, we're going to add those together. We'll take one arm up and over. The other arm will go under. We'll keep our spine long, right up in neutral position instead of leaning over though. Now, if you can't quite touch those fingers, that's fine. Maybe you grab onto your shirt. Maybe you have a yoga strap to hold on to, or a hand towel will work. But soften the muscles of the neck and relax the jaw. And then we'll take it to the other side. And let it go. So that is the top half of Gomukhasana, cow face pose. We'll do the lower half later and then put them together. For now, let's hop up on our hands and knees. And we're going to scrape the barrel. So we're going to take our spine and run it as if we're scraping the inside of a barrel with it. And switch directions. All right, we're going to take the spine in neutral position, so very long all the way up to the top of the head, so you're looking at your mat. And we'll take one leg out behind, Go ahead and touch those toes down to the mat, and I want you to pay careful attention to the pelvis, making sure that we're not lifting or lowering it. It's going to stay right where it is in neutral. We're going to lift the heel. My tummy is tight to make sure that it doesn't sag, and I'm going to try to keep those toes pointing down at the floor. You can do this pointed toe, but for right now, I like the flexed foot so I can be sure that I'm not rotating my hip. And we'll switch sides. And let it go. Take your knees wide and drop your hips back, child's pose. Let your belly button fall as close to the floor as you can. We'll take both those arms over to one side. And the other side. Back to the center. Bring it on. All right, this time we've got that long neutral spine again. We're going to keep our pelvis still again. We're going to take one leg out to the side as high as we can get it. You'll notice that my knee doesn't go very high because my range of motion isn't very much, so I would have to tip my pelvis, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to keep the belly button pointed straight down at the ground, lift and lower the leg out to the side as much as your range of motion will allow. Let it down, we'll switch sides. Put that down, we'll switch sides. This time we're going to take our knee and draw the biggest circle we can, again while keeping the pelvis still. Circle the other direction. And switch sides. Circle. Level pelvis, please. Rotate the other direction. Let it down. With the knees together, press back, child's pose. Notice how it's more challenging to breathe here. And the lungs really have to expand up through the back instead. Bringing up hands and knees. And we're gonna play a little bit. We're gonna walk our knees back until we're in a straight line, a kneeling plank. Tight lower belly, that's going to help protect the spine. If you want to, you can go to a full plank. But we're gonna rock back and forth from child's pose to our plank, knees or toes. And the next time you're in plank, let's press up to downward facing dog, tail in the air. And we're going to revisit those stretches that we did at the beginning of class, those pendiculation stretches, and feel free to move the legs in that direction now that we've got more space to do that. Take down child's pose. Let your full body collapse on your knees and bring the hands down towards the feet. Let them rest. Feel the shoulder blades drop towards the floor and the full weight of your body coming down on your lower legs. Alrighty, let's bring ourselves forward just with the hands. It's going to leave our tail coming up into the air. We're going to bring it up over the knees, melting heart. Now feel your elbows on the ground. Bring them a little bit closer together so you can feel them really close to both sides of the head. Press down the elbows, lifting your shoulders up, and we'll come into a Sphinx heart lift. Press it back, melting heart. Let that heart come down. And then again, Sphinx. Feel the shoulder blades open, and you'll get the most stretch out of this if your forearms are parallel to one another. So elbows are about shoulder width apart, and wrists are the same width apart as your elbows. Next time you're in melting heart, we're going to hang out there and slide your right arm under the body. Let your torso rotate a little bit. And then we'll take it through a traditional thread the needle The upper arm comes up to the sky, around the back, and you rotate your heart towards the sky, again keeping your pelvis level. You'll notice that your hips will try to push out to one side, resist it. Unwind. We're going to take the second side. So from your melting heart, we'll thread the left arm under. And then take the other arm up and over. And unwind. Let's press it up, downward facing dog. And then go ahead and walk the feet forward. Take your time. Bring yourself all the way up to standing. Hands to heart space. Take a moment to roll back those shoulders, to get settled in your hips and your feet. Imagine that whether your heels are touching or not, you're going to imagine a zipper running from the heels all the way up to the tail, squeezing the back of those thighs towards each other. Now you might notice that when you do that, your feet want to roll out to the outsides. Press down through the arches. Keep that zipper pulled up nice and tight. And then put a little pressure between your palms. We're going to take the right arm up and over, pat yourself on the back. And the left arm under, reach for strap, shirt, fingertips. See if you can keep your neck in neutral. And release. We'll play with it the other direction. And unwind. We're going to take both arms back up overhead. We're going to swan dive right down to the floor, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. Stick the upper body straight out, maybe on your fingertips, your legs, or maybe you take it to a monkey pose, fingertips reaching to the ceiling. Exhale back down. Right leg back. it back to child's pose. Bring it forward through plank to cobra pose. Let the hips drop. Let the chest come through the arms. Shoulders stay low. Press your way up to downward facing dog. We'll take our right leg high behind us, but we're going to do it a little bit pigeon-toed so that again we're focusing on those back toes pointing straight down at the ground instead of letting our hip rotate. Heels get as far away from each other as you can. Drive the bottom one down towards the floor. Pull the other one up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the knee forward towards your nose and set it down between your hands. Always feel free to use your hands to assist getting that leg a little bit higher if it doesn't come all the way up on the first try. Forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up. Hands to heart space. Find that position. Arches pressed down, back of the legs zipped up, a little pressure between the palms, and the head floating right on top. Inhale, arms up. Forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. And back down. Left leg steps back. And right. Press back, child's pose. Forward to cobra. So, if the arms being straight means that the shoulders are up, don't have your arms straight. Bend them back towards the knees in such a way that you can have those shoulders low away from your ears. Press up, downward facing dog. Left leg's turn to come up high behind you. Remember that we're keeping the pelvis level, driving those heels away from each other. Bring the knee forward and set the foot down between the hands. Forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up. Hands to heart space. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Shoulders rolled back, belly engaged. Exhale, back down. Right leg steps back. And this time we're going to put our weight on our right hand as our left hand comes up to our thigh or the sky. And the goal here is going to be really to stretch this outer hip. So think of pressing the hip down and away and bringing your knee towards your heart or your armpit. Release, step back, Child's pose. Cobra. Downward facing dog. We'll take our right leg behind us, and this time you just go as high as you can. Get it up there. Other heel's reaching to the floor. Swing it forward, low lunge. Forward fold. All the way up. Hands to heart space. Inhale, arms up. Forward fold. Half lift. And back down. Left leg steps back. And twist your lunge. Right arm to the sky. Again, hips are reaching back, and if you'd like to deepen it even more, your hips can drop towards the floor as well. Remembering that this thigh is coming towards the torso. Unwind, find your plank. Child's pose. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Left leg as high as you can get it. And bring it forward, low lunge. Forward fold. All the way up. Hands to heart space. Recheck your alignment. Those feet press down into the floor, rolling a little bit towards the arches. Zip up that zipper through the back of the legs. Little pressure between the palms, head floating on top. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. And back down. Right leg steps back. Rotate your low lunge. Now you can either unwind, both hands on the ground and then step back, or maybe you'd like to do a side lunge, or excuse me, a side plank. And then head down. Child's pose. Cobra. Downward facing dog.
Right leg high behind you. This time we'll play with scorpion. So we're going to lift that hip as high as you can, and then accentuate the stretch even more by reaching back with your toes. Keep the left arm long. Don't let yourself bend into it. And then bring the knee forward, low lunge.
Forward fold.
All the way up. Hands to heart space.
Take them up.
And forward. Half lift.
And back down.
Left leg steps back.
Rotate. Again, an option to unwind and then step back to plank, or to head through side plank. Child's pose.
Cobra.
Downward facing dog.
Left leg's turning to go to scorpion. Lift it up or reach it back like that scorpion tail. Right arm stays long and strong. Swing it forward, low lunge.
Forward fold.
Breathe in, come all the way up. Hands to heart space.
All right, we're gonna play with a little bit more of that hip rotation and some balance at the same time. So go ahead and find your right knee out to the side. Bring it on in, tree pose. Hands can go wherever they need to. This is gonna get more challenging balance-wise, so feel free to stand near a wall or a piece of furniture that can support you if you'd like. We're going to take it to a figure four. Now we're going to sit in an imaginary chair. So I'm actually using my elbow to encourage my knee to go down and out. And maybe your chair isn't so imaginary. Maybe there's one there just as a safety net. And bring it on up. We'll switch sides. Tree pose. Bring it across and set it back. let it go. Ooh. Have a seat. All right, so we're going to do the standard cross at the ankles. Stick your tail out behind you and let your belly button fall into your lap. Get as cozy into your lap as you can. Find those deep breaths and melt in. One last deep breath here. And bring it on up. We'll switch to the other ankle in front. And take it again, tail out back, melt into your own lap. Bring it all the way back up. All right, so we're going to take one knee underneath, point it forwards, and the other knee, bring it across. Now the goal here is to get both buttocks down on the floor. So just stretch this area, but this is a deeper stretch for sure. Give those hips time to feel secure and settled and heavy. And if you'd like to, we can grab for this knee and pull it close to the midline, just like we did when we were doing our rotated low lunges. We're going to think about pulling the elbows down and back, though, to keep that chest open. We've got our biceps engaged, we've got our back engaged to pull this leg in close. Remembering that that buttocks has to stay down. You can add a little rotation if you like. Unwind. All right, so now for the lower half of Gomukhasana, we're going to bring these feet a little bit further apart. And our knees get to slide down towards each other. Whatever level that is, that's just the direction they're heading is towards each other. Give yourself some time here. And then we'll add the arms. We'll take, let's see, if your left knee is on top, we'll take the right arm up and over, underneath to meet it. And unwind. That was it. That was the full Gomukhasana. We'll switch sides. So if you remember when we were just doing the arms thing, I told you that this is about the shoulder. You shouldn't feel like a pinch or a twinge in the elbow. Same goes for the legs. This is a stretch for the hips. You shouldn't feel pulling or torquing in the knee. So if you're feeling that, back off of it a little bit until the hips are ready to allow the movement. The knees are not supposed to move that way. All right, so first things first, both buttocks press down into the floor. And then maybe we pull the knee towards the chest. And then we'll rotate. Unwind. We'll drop those knees towards each other. Both buttocks still reaching for the ground evenly. And then the left arm up and over if your right knee's on top. let it go. Excellent. Unwind and make your way to lying on your back. Return to those stretches, reaching out in whatever way feels best to you, and holding it, reaching through it until you find that release. And then make your way to your Shavasana, your relaxation pose on the ground. Feel free to get any props that you may need to make this the most comfortable for you. And feel those deep breaths reaching all the way down inside of you and releasing. Continue taking that full range of motion of breath, all the way full to as empty as you can get it, and then slow it down. Using as little energy as possible, slow it down. Now return to the natural breath. And simply rest in the breath. Now return your awareness to the room that you're in. Become aware that
that you're lying on the floor. And begin your movements with the face. Stretch and scrunch. Let it shift to the neck and arms and spine, hips, legs, and toes. Take your time finding your way up to sitting. And when you're there, we'll bring our hands back to heart space. Bring your thoughts to a place of gratitude. And as we take a deep breath in and out together, I invite you to Om along with me on the exhale if you like. We'll breathe it in. Thank you. Namaste.